This is the May 9th, 2024 Fire Station Building Committee meeting through the Greenfield City Zoom platform. Chair statement is that this meeting is being recorded. Any persons present that are doing the same, they must notify the chairperson at this time. Is anybody else recording this meeting? Videotaping this meeting? No? Good. Okay, move to attendance. David Singer.
Here.
Hawkins is present. Mayor.
Here.
Chief.
Here.
Carol Collins.
Here.
David M. Steve Draculich. Gene Wall.
Here.
Amy McMahon.
Here.
Jen Stromstad.
Here.
And Jim Nguyen. Let's see. Okay. We also have Peter MacGyver, Fernando Fury, Neil Joyce, Katrina, Gene Howard. I can see real. No. Moving to the agenda, approval of the prior meeting minutes. And the first one that we have is for March 14th. Peter sent them out. Everybody got them and had a chance to read them.
Yes. Move to accept. Stinger.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Oh, sorry. Each to it.
Get your name. Get your name in the minutes.
Second. All right. Any further discussions on the meeting for March 14th? Hearing none, how do you vote? Yay or nay? David Singer?
Yay. Yay.
Yay for Butch. Mayor?
Yes.
Chief?
Yes.
And Carol Collins? I'm not sure.
I'll abstain since I wasn't
Yeah,
there.
he wasn't at that one, right?
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
It's David.
And Gene Wall?
Yes.
And Amy?
Yes.
And Jen?
Yes.
Jim Nguyen, if he's on? No, okay, thank you for that. Okay, now we have the meeting minutes for all these papers, April 11th. Peter also sent out.
Move to approve. Singer.
Yep, second,
Second. Amy.
Amy, thank you, Amy. Everybody had a chance to look at them? Any comments, questions? Everybody good? Perfect. Thanks. David Singer, how do you vote on them?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mayor?
Yes.
Chief?
Yes.
Carol, I believe you were at that meeting, Carol.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks. Jean,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. The budget update and payment invoices, current status of the budget. Neil, I made you the co-host, so you ought to be able to share your screen. I did send that information out.
Okay. You all should be able to see the payment letter recommendation. Two invoices this month, TA Sullivan, $318,925.36, and construction monitoring services for $24,000 even. Total expenditures, 342,925.36. Any questions on the invoices as presented?
Make a motion to accept.
I have a question.
Second.
Lynn.
Yeah, is there a second?
Second, Amy.
Amy, okay, Mayor, question?
Yes, so this is the first time that I've been on the building committee at the end for the financial part. So I have a question about, and Neil, you probably could help me with this. You said something about there was a 5% contingency that you held out till it was finished. Is that part of,
Retainage,
OPM.
it's called, Mayor.
okay,
And
I
the,
stand corrected, but,
no,
I
that's
just
okay.
wanted to-
The
wanted
recommendation, the amount recommended, 318,925.36, is 5% less than their gross requisition. So we have retained and continue to retain 5% of their total contract value, which, if you give me a second, I will pull it back up. And I will show you. So currently, we have balance to finish, including retainage, is $1.4 million in their contract. So the retainage is shown on line 5, and the total amount retained of the contract right now is about $705,000. Can you see that? Let me see if I can rotate it.
I can see it. It's sideways, but I'm turning my head.
Is that better? So this
Thank you.
number right here,
Yes,
704,959.11. That's the total retainage that we have retained from their billing so far. And the total to finish, including retainage, so this is the combination of retainage and all approved funds that have not been paid to them yet, is just over $1.42 million.
oh, okay, so I'm just gonna continue with my question.
Yep.
So, I see that. Thank you for explaining that. But, so when you said them, who is the them? So I
DA
saw like the
Sullivan.
okay. All right, so it isn't by like architectural, et cetera.
No.
It's,
This is just
Okay.
DA Sullivan.
all right. Do you do the same thing? You don't do the same thing for architecture?
No.
Okay, thank
Anything else? That's it?
Any other questions for Neil on the payment summary? Is there a motion to accept the payment summary as submitted?
So moved, Singer.
Second,
It's already been voted in second or motioned in second, Butch.
okay.
It's true.
Who- I got lost there. Okay. Do you vote, David Singer?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mayor?
yes.
Chief?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
And Jen?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now the budget, Neil?
Yep.
That,
I will
Approve the updated
share again,
budget.
Butch.
yeah,
Okay. So that's, you're seeing the budget, right?
yes.
Okay. So as of May 8th, Mayor, to your previous point, our contract under OPM, we've got roughly $22,000 remaining in our contract. So we're 96% complete. Architectural and engineering, there's 11,000 plus some closeout and reimbursable expenses. So they're just over 99% complete retained with 14,000 left as a balance to pay. Commissioning services, about $31,000 remaining. The permanent station, again, the 1.4 million that we discussed previously. Project expenses, about $140,000. Furnishings and equipment, 460,000 out of our budget. And then the temp station, 525,077 remaining. So we've incurred roughly $18.4 million of the $21.7 million total project budget. We've got a little over 2.85 million remaining. So we're just shy of 87% complete on total project budget. I'll open it up for any questions.
I have a question, Neil. It's David.
Yep.
On the contingency, so today we're doing some more, what are they called? Work orders or
Change orders.
change orders.
Yep.
Do we believe, so that will reduce this number again, right?
Yes.
And after that, what do you anticipate?
For changes,
Yes.
I believe we're getting very close to the bottom of the barrel in terms of requests from the contractor as well as any outstanding issues that we have to address. So I think we're getting pretty close.
So you feel comfortable that that's sufficient to get us through to the end?
I do.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Neil on the status of the budget?
Make a motion to accept.
Second, Amy.
Okay. David, how do you vote on the updated budget?
I vote approve.
I do also, Mayor,
Yes.
Chief,
Yes.
Carol, Carol Collins.
She was putting her thumbs up. She's saying
Oh.
yes.
Oh, okay. Couldn't see her, sorry. Jean,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
and Jen.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Item on the list is a couple of PCOs that are bound together for a total of $38,686.85. I will tell you, and Neil maybe expand on that. That the PCO number 64 for the AV adjustment, or maybe Katrina will explain on that. There's a credit due us, but they haven't had they haven't had a chance to figure out what the credit is going to be. They're working on it, so this figure is going to be something less than that. So we're sort of asking you to vote on a not to exceed number. And maybe Katrina, you might want to just chime in on that.
Sure, thank you, Butch. So what we have been researching is along the entire stretch of the project, the various purchase change orders that the contractor has sought, and the sound system, and this is particular to the AV, the audiovisual components in the training room, that they are separately considered from the PA system, okay, public address system. So the contractor, I believe, has had some confusion there, but they've also provided us with unclear documentation related to what credits and additional components are involved in the AV system. So we've been back and forth for the past week and a half about trying to clarify those. The maximum dollar amount that Butch is proposing there or has listed would include kind of this up to, that's the limit. If they are able to provide the documentation that clarifies these are the appropriate credits and charges related to the changes that occurred over the life of the project to the AV system alone, that would be the maximum. We, as a design team, believe that there may be a credit hiding in there that has not been explained yet. So we've been pushing back on the contractor to try to bring that number down. We just don't have that final number yet. Like I said, it's something that's in process. We're trying to get that number, and it's only recently that we got the data from the contractor. So that complicates us bringing that number to you. But we don't want to hold off on the approval of the work that actually needs to be done and the equipment that needs to be installed. We're all trying to push for the completion of this project before the end of May so that the chief and the fire department can move themselves in. And that's a part of that needs to be taken care of, but doesn't necessarily contribute to substantial completion. I'll touch that in a moment. I hope that explains enough about the PCO.
Any questions for Katrina on that? I mean, the reason we put it in is we need to get the work done, and so, you know, absent the credit, you know, it's a not to exceed figure.
I have a question, Butch.
Sure, go
So
ahead, David.
if we vote to approve this, then is it mean the work can go forward, but the payment will depend on a subsequent conversation?
That
Yeah, it
is
should be something
my
less than,
understanding.
So the payment won't be this amount until we agree what the amount should be.
Correct.
Thank you.
any other questions? Vote to approve the total change order not to exceed 38,686.85. How do you vote, David?
As long as it's to start construction, but to hold back until the conversation is had about the actual cost, I vote yes.
Okay. I vote yes. Mayor? Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Carol? Collins?
Carol says yes,
She waved-
thumbs up.
Okay, yes. Jean?
Yes.
Yes. Amy?
Yes.
And Jen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Chief Strand votes yes too, Butch.
Oh, how did I miss you? You're right there in front of me. Okay, project updates, OPM and design team. Commissioning service documentation, inspections, punch list and cleanup. I don't know which one of you, maybe Katrina and then Neil, or Neil and Katrina want to address these
Well,
items?
I will try to talk about, and I just want to make sure I stick to the agenda. Okay, so in terms of project updates, and this does tie into inspections in a sense. We've been having regular virtual and in-person meetings. And I know we're trying to keep our time limited on this because we're beyond the original time frame of the project. But we need to make sure that the contractor is doing what they need to do to wrap up sooner than later. So we are also coordinating with Mark Snow at the city as building inspector to address his concern for a temporary certificate of occupancy. He has learned some lessons on previous projects and gone over his concerns with us in detail several times. We had a good meeting with him or a call with him a few weeks ago. We know that he's been out on the site. I'm sure the chief and Butch, you've seen him out on the project, and Neil and Roger, you know, he's been there. We've been communicating a lot. I'm going to have a conversation with him again tomorrow with one of our young staff here, Simon, who's been going to the site regularly. I was on site myself last week. Or was it this week? I think it was this week. Busy time of year, a lot going on. So the electrical work that is remaining to be done is kind of a big chunk of that. Making sure that all of the functions of the building are correct and operating for the fire department to move in is our main concern. We need to be able to say that it's substantially complete, and that is the building is able to be occupied for its intended function. That means overhead doors have to be completely working, all the outlets, all the lights, all the different parts of, let's say, plumbing, HVAC, et cetera, with what we have, understanding that we're still waiting for the generator in the end and the chiller unit that goes on the roof. All of the building can function without those two units. We know that they are coming, but the commissioning that's going to be happening and is actually happening, it's underway already. The commissioning agent has been part of our team discussions, and they are proceeding to commission everything that is working and functioning at this time.
Any questions for Katrina on what you said so far? Neil, maybe you can speak to the excuse me, documentation, punch list and final cleanup a little bit, what's our schedule kind of going forward here? Because we're getting close.
Sure, so we'll go through an extensive punch list and back punch process before the fire department takes occupancy of the building. We'll make sure that the contractor buttons up as many of the little loose ends as they possibly can before the fire department takes occupancy. I know that DA Sullivan has been working closely with Mark to identify as many of those issues as may be present right now that they can easily identify and address. And we'll continue to push that effort over the next 2 weeks as we're hoping to get in for May 20th is the hope right now. So we're still pushing that date very hard. We're pushing all the parties to make sure that they're buttoned up and rolled out and everything is in good standing and good condition for occupancy by the fire department.
Any questions for Neil on any of those pieces? I know at our Monday meeting, the commissioning agent was on the line, and he was on the line the previous Monday, seeing what was available for them to come out and inspect and check on, and there were a large number of items for them to come out, and I believe they're coming out this coming week to work on that piece. So that's a good thing.
Which I think their efforts were well documented. They had very good success doing their commissioning and checkout of all of the systems that were supporting the office and kitchen areas. And then their efforts next week were to support the commissioning of the apparatus bays in the areas to the rear of the building. So first phase went very well. We're anticipating the second phase will go equally as well, and the majority of the commissioning effort will be completed prior to move-in.
Perfect. Any questions for Katrina or Neil on those pieces? I just want to add, go ahead.
Sorry, I finally found my mouse.
Okay.
I just wanted to let Neil and maybe Katrina know that I'm going to be meeting with Eversource tomorrow to talk about the incentive, and that will coordinate with the commissioning. So I may be reaching out, and I don't think you guys have been meeting with them. So I'll just continue with that, and I'll be in touch if there's anything. All right, thank you.
Carol, we're anticipating that there'll be a document request.
Yep.
Confirming submittals and fixtures and all the different elements that are installed.
Yep.
And we will work with you and DA Sullivan to compile that information so that the city can apply for and receive the rebates that are part of the Eversource agreement for the project.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I have a couple updates if you have a minute.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
I was just going to let everybody know that last night the electrical contractor finished the install of the permanent transfer switch. So the fire station was without power yesterday and was restored last night around 5 p.m. And they have finished their preparations for tying in the generator, which will no longer interrupt power before or while we occupy. So we understand that the generator is arriving later, but now that the permanent transfer switch has been installed, that will no longer mean that we will be without power while we occupy. In addition to that, the vendor that we got the SCBA compressor for our breathing air is coming next week to do their startup and commissioning of that. And the laundry company for the gear extractors is coming tomorrow to do their startup. So Firematic equipment is underway, and that's it. Thank you.
Perfect. And Peter's talking about the temporary generator, which they brought in until the permanent one comes. So that means that we have backup power from the temporary. Any questions for Peter? And then I have one thing. I got a call when I was on the golf course today from the neighbor in the convenience store, and he's brought the issue up. I think he's brought it up to the police chief. He may have brought it up to the mayor because he's a city council as well. He's not happy with the guardrail. He would like to see something different there. I told him that's not within our budget. He'd like to see some kind of fencing there that was there previously when it was a business resident. And I said, well, that would be on the city side because we don't have a budget there. Then he said, well, could we paint it? And I said, well, we don't have a budget for painting it either. And he said that they would be willing to paint the fence. And I said, well, that's between you and the city. So I just wanted to alert the mayor that, and I think the mayor has had conversations with him, but I sort of just wanted to bring it up to everyone that, and he was good about it. He was very good about it, but it's a concern he has and he wants to bring it forward. So I just wanted to make members aware of his concern as being a neighbor. The neighbor on the other side, I think, is going to be made whole by DA Sullivan with some paving and stuff. They used the parking lot and they used some out front spaces that with heavy equipment, and there was maybe some damage to the surfaces there, and I think they're going to correct it for them, and that will be on their dime and not on our dime, as I understand it. But I just want to make folks aware of that. So that's maybe a continuing issue. Not really within our budget, but maybe he can work it out with the city and an approach to make him happy on that. That's all I know about those two items. Any questions from anybody? All right. So the anticipated move-in date, we're shooting for end of May currently. And that will depend on the TCO, the temporary certificate of occupancy. Everybody's pushing to get that in and done. And then the anticipated ribbon cutting, which looks like a pretty solid date, would be June 10th. And our next meeting would be June 13th. And just a question for the OPM. After they're in, the project is somewhat complete and ribbon cutting has happened. How much longer does the committee sort of stay together? Because what I understand from Timmy Farrell on the library, they've had meetings, quite a few meetings after the library was open and operating.
So Butch, I would say we can continue to meet on a monthly basis. We could continue to meet on an as needed basis and update things as we move through closeout in the first year of occupancy. Conversely, the city could elect to disband the committee and identify a select group that would continue to meet and protect the city's interests as well as our own as we move through the final couple of months of the project. I would hope I would hope that we'll have things wrapped up in the fall, understanding that we're still waiting for the generator, we're still waiting for the chiller. Those dates, to the best that we know, are still wrapped up by July 1. And in terms of delivery, and then installation will be shortly thereafter, and then a commissioning effort most likely through the end of the summer. So I'm hoping by the fall, all components are in place, everything is buttoned up, Mark is satisfied. We're under a permanent CO once the final 2 pieces of equipment are installed and commissioned. And at that point, we should be ready to decommission the committee.
Any questions, Anil, on the schedule sort of going forward with meetings and what's necessary to button the thing up?
I have a question, Butch. It's David.
Sure, go ahead, David.
So when do we hand the project over to the city?
The city will have to be prepared to insure the building at the point of time that it takes occupancy. So if we're talking about occupancy in 10 days, the city should be talking to their insurance agent to make sure that their insurance coverage will kick in once the building is intended to be occupied and is under city use and control. Does that answer your question, David?
It does. Do you perceive a timeline for that, or is that more what the mayor would be explaining to us?
No, the timeline for occupancy is prior to the end of the month. We're targeting the 20th or just after Memorial Day at the latest. So that is the timeline so far as I know. I'm not aware of any other one.
Okay, thank you.
Keith chiming in here quickly from the mayor's office. I can confirm that Maya, the city's insurer, has been made aware of the kind of imminent closure of this project, and those conversations are taking place.
Thank you, Keith.
Any other questions? Any members?
But I have a couple comments.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
So on May 18th at 1 o'clock, there'll be a presentation from, I believe, I don't know the organization or committee, but it's the B committee. We are getting our own B in front of the firehouse, and that's being presented on the 18th of this month. So if anybody would like to stop by, that would be great.
Okay.
In addition, we have through different financing sources and hard work with the mayor's office, have approved, we'll be working on the install of the electronic signboard going forward as well. So that has gone through the process. And we're looking really good. If anybody's had an opportunity to drive by, the grass is in. Furniture is in, and they're buttoning up the electrical stuff, and we're looking really good. So thank you. Oh, and Butch, the ribbon cutting next month is at 11 a.m.
Damn, okay. Good. Okay. What else? Not entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Excellent. Second.
No
Come
second,
on,
second
don't-
Singer.
All right.
Okay, David? How do you
Yes,
vote?
sir.
Yes, I
Yes.
vote yes. Mayor? Chief?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
And Jen?
Yes.
Thanks very much, everybody. See you next month.